So while we're unboxing this, yeah, how do you feel about Anbernic releasing another vertical device?
I prefer the horizontal devices.
Is it? Why is that?
But looking at the box, it looks decent. My only issue with vertical devices are the shoulder buttons.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but from what I've seen and from what I've heard, this is actually quite thick and chunky, so we'll see how comfortable it can actually be. But there's the unit anyway. We'll put that to the side for now. Here's what you get inside the box. Standard USB Type-C cable, screen wipes, your user manual, handy, maybe not. This one came with 128 gig worth of games, so that's always handy. And we have our screen protector, which definitely that'll be getting put on at some point, just not right now. Let's get a feel for this thing.
Well, I'm really keen because I've purposely not read up on this device.
Oh, just so you can see. Like,
and I want to have a neutral, genuine experience with the unboxing.
bro, it is thick.
Because it does GameCube, I'm really hoping it will run F-Zero.
That's a good point.
Planning to play that game for a long time, and I've been speaking about it with everyone. So
this has got to be the worst way that I've taken a unit out of a box before.
That looked like
this thing is chunky. I'm telling you guys now, it's chunky, and that's why. Let's just get it out of there.
From there, it looks like the original Game Boy.
And the color we got is the trans purple. This is it's hella nice, right?
That looks like something Nintendo would build.
It looks good. The build quality is really good.
It's got a fan.
Yeah, so it's got a fan at the back there. So, and that goes in and then dissipates out the top.
Nice. So this is quite high power then.
Yeah, I can't get over just how comfortable that feels, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, because normally when you're playing on a vertical device, it feels not as comfortable. Yeah.
I think that's it. This is a new device for me. Don't need to test it. It's Anbernic.
It's looking all right, isn't it? So let's just quickly do a device comparison before I tour around the device. So I've got a few bits here. Let's pull out the old DMG first, yeah? Because this is about as close as you're going to get to it being chunky. So that's what it looks like next to the DMG. Obviously, the massive screen makes massive differences there. In terms of thickness, the DMG is probably a bit thicker anyway. But the wideness of it, yeah, if you're going to build a vertical handheld and you want it to have maximum comfort, this is how chunky it would need to be.
And just on one point, I mentioned the shoulder buttons, and actually, I like these.
Yeah.
You can easily differentiate between the two.
I'm just going to reach for these other verticals here, just to put things into perspective. So that's it next to the DMG. Downgrade from that, which is the 353V. And as you can see, that's the differences there. The 35XX. And then the Miu Mini. I'll just put that over here, so you guys can see. I've got the Nano somewhere, but that's. Oh, have you got it on you?
Oh no,
no. Not to worry about that. But look, this is enough to show you what it looks like with regards to a size comparison. So in regards to it next to its predecessor, it is a hell of a lot bigger, a hell of a lot more chunky, as you can see there. We'll test probably at some point whether or not this is pocketable. I'm gonna say no. It's not It's not as pocketable, but it makes up for it by being so comfortable. And one of the things I like about it is that these curves do make it easier to hold. I mean, if you could,
they sent a case with this one.
Oh snap! Yeah, forgot to mention that.
Oh, that's good.
They sent a case in with it as well, which is pretty nice. Looks durable, decent case. So the case is getting better. And it's even got the groove lining on the inside here, so literally it will just slip in and it fits like so. It feels good. It feels really good. So yeah, so that's the screen comparison. Right, so obviously this thing is hella chunky, hella thick. Love it. But we do need to see how pocketable it could be. So I'm just wearing standard tracksuit bottoms right now. And here we go. Screening first, and there you have it. It is in the pocket. You know what I mean? Jiggle, you're gonna feel it in there. But I would practice caution if you did have it in your pocket, purely because these analog sticks, if you look here, you can see that they're raised. So that can snag on some stuff. So you want to be cautious of that and be mindful of that. But yeah, it can go in your pocket. Do you want to keep it in your pocket all the time? Probably not. But it can go in your pocket. Just don't do it with no tight, skinny jeans. That would be a mistake. When the 405M came out, I was thinking to myself, I wish and I hope that Anbernic do a vertical variant to it. Maybe a metal one if we're lucky. But actually, they did do the variant, and this is what we have here today. Thanks to Anbernic for that. The people wanted a variant of the 405 in a vertical form factor. So great job on that. And again, it feels comfortable. So right, so let's have the tour around this thing, innit? So straight off the bat, the first thing you notice is a massive display, that big 4-inch touchscreen display, and look, I've already got fingerprints on it. You got your D-pad, which we're gonna test that during gameplay anyway. I've heard decent things about, and there's not a lot of rocking on there when you hold it in one direction, especially down. But we'll take a look at that a bit later on. You've got your back and your home button here, and it's also got the indentations to say what it is. So if you tap it, it will go back, and if you hold it, then it will go to home. You've got your A, B, and your X, Y, and I believe there is like a silicone sort of feel to that because they're quite squishy underneath there. They feel comfortable and they feel good. I know there's a word for it, but it doesn't come to mind right now. The start and select, those are hard plastic buttons, but just like the A, B, and the X, Y, they're quite nice to press and they're not too bad. And then you've also got your analog sticks right here. So these are the Howell magnetic sticks. Over time, there's going to be no travel on that. There's going to be no drift, I should say. And they're clicking inwards as well, and they feel nice. And they are a lot like the Switch as well. I mean, I don't know, how do you feel about analog sticks on the vertical device itself?
Yeah, I mean, they look like they're positioned okay. Some of the devices, like the D007, that was just too low to be comfortable.
Yeah. These, because of the way it feels, it feels okay. I don't know how it's going to be in reality, especially when it comes to some of the Android shooters, but I guess we could test that out at some point down the road anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so we're going to move to the bottom. So the bottom here, you got your, let's just get that in focus. So at the bottom here, you got your 2 downward firing speakers, and that's stereo sound. And you've got your headphone jack right there. On the side, you can see a little bit of the triggers here, but we've got our power and we've got your volume rocker. Along the top, you got your Type C and you've got your vent. So the air's coming out. We're going to get to the back of the device soon anyway. On the side here, we've got the Anbernic button, so when you press that, it goes into the Anbernic front end. And then you've also got your TF card slot right there, so you can put your micro SD cards in there, and that's great as well. On the back, this is where it gets a little interesting. So you can see straight away, that's a massive battery in there. And according to the specs right here, 55,000 mAh.
That's
so
decent.
That is decent then, yeah?
Yeah, my power bank's 10,000 milliamp hours.
Okay.
And that charges my phone a ton of times.
So then we can get a good amount of gameplay. Obviously, depending on the type of game and how heavy it is, that's how it's going to be.
But with the fan, it needs to have that big battery. Otherwise, it would just drain quick.
And so there's been talks about this fan. But first, let's just talk about how it looks. I like the way it looks. I like it being there. And I don't think it matters really what color it is. It looks pretty decent. I'm not sure why they went for like the cube, but it does remind me of the GameCube for some reason. And then you got this color. But yeah, so it's coming in here and it's coming out. Why is the fan there? Well, it's obviously going to keep the heat. And I think it's mostly to do with the display, you know. And the reason why I say that is because with the 351V and the 353V, the display can get warm. So it does make sense to sort of have that there. I mean, I'm no engineer or technician, but it kind of makes sense that it will come in this way and it will come out at the top. This is probably the part where it's going to get the warmest. I don't know, I'm just taking a guess.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't look like there's anything on the lower part of the body. So I think most of the processing power's up here. So your graphics, and your processor is all going to be around that area. So it makes sense that the screen gets all.
Yeah. Onto triggers, L1, L2, R1, R2, and they're not noisy. They click and they feel decent, but they're not particularly noisy.
It's got that soft click, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all right. And you know what is different about these? They curve and somewhat flare outwards a little bit, unlike some of the predecessors where where is it? Here we go. So you can see just the difference, because most of the Anbernic verticals have this sort of layout, whereas this one a bit angular, so I guess it's going to be built for comfort there, but they feel like they kind of flare just a tad bit in comparison to, say, something like this. So yeah, so there's that. Then you've got your information here, and then you can see again the massive battery with the 6 sort of Allen key type screws there, and that's just around the device. And you got 2 little bits here, so I'm assuming you're supposed to put you can put your little pinkies in there, and they can sort of go at the bottom, but for me it just feels I guess it just depends on how you're moving, because if you notice, when I'm moving to the outer buttons, my fingers go like that, but then if I'm getting in close, then I can just do that. But these fingers are the ones that seem to fit here more comfortably. Either way, they're built in there for some level of comfort. The ergonomics on this is actually pretty decent. They've smoothed all of these edges down, even more so at the front, and the back is just as smooth. So yeah, that is around the device, but it's all right, isn't it? Actually,
night and day.
Hold on, let me see, even that wasn't bad. Yeah. So talking on how loud these are, when you pick up a cheaper device, I can't remember what the name of this is, but listen, I'm just looking at the camera and I'm just seeing the greens. It's all zip, zip, zip. Yeah. It's mad. I'm a man of the cloth.
Right, let's go.
So yeah, man, so power this bad boy on.
The power's on the right.
Yeah. One thing to mention though on it is there's probably going to be a bit of setting up, but at least we can see the power on bit. So it's starting this way. At first, when it comes to powering it on, there's a little bit of a wait. Sounds okay. Sounds good. And then we've got the girl here again, as usual.
I'm gonna go English.
That's gonna take a little while.
It's not touch, is it?
It is.
Oh, it's touch.
Yeah, it's a touch display.
Oh, I thought it just delayed.
We'll keep that footage in.
So in terms of specs, we're looking at 3 colours. We've got the wood grain, the transparent purple and the grey. It comes with a 4-inch IPS touchscreen with a resolution of 640 by 680. It uses the Unisoc Tiger 618 64-bit octa-core processor, and it uses a Mali G52 GPU running at 850 MHz. It has 4GB of DDR4 RAM. It has 128GB eMMC storage. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it's currently running on Android 12. It comes with 20 plus simulators, and obviously you can install your own other software on there since it's an Android device. It has a built-in front end for the games. It's a 5000 mAh battery with a full charge taking only 3 hours, and the battery life to be expected around 9 hours. It has an automatic heat dissipation in terms of built-in fan to improve the performance, and it supports cards of up to 2 TB. Other special features within this device are the built-in HAL joysticks, the 6-axis gyroscope sensor. It supports OTA wireless upgrades. It's capable of online matchmaking. It's capable of wireless projection. It has a built-in vibration motor, and it supports 3.5-inch stereo headphones.
So we're all powered up. It's running Android 12 as we know. But just something I wanted to touch on. I know that these are the same display, but it literally feels like, I guess when you're holding it, I don't know, is it my head?
It does look bigger.
It does, isn't it?
Yeah.
It isn't, but it does. But I ain't complaining, I'm just saying it was an observation in comparison to the 405M, which I did drop not too long ago and scuffed them. Not happy about that. But yeah.
Magic marker.
So we're all on. So while we're here, let's just quickly talk about the Android side of things. As you would normally expect, you've got your, your touch screen. It moves around. It's very user friendly, but I don't know if I can say refresh rates, but it moves pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's decent. That's quicker than some phones that I've seen. So
it's smooth.
It is smooth, innit? And I like that about it. It comes with a bunch of pre-installed apps. Me personally, I like to download my own apps because that's just how I do things, but to each their own. Let's just scroll down. So you got your, let's just move that. So you've got your regular sort of interface that you have here with the notification bar. When you scroll it down, it's the same as the or similar to the 405 or any of the Anbernic Android line of devices. So we've got the R button, so we can select it from here. So we can put it into Anbernic mode from the drop down menu, or from the notification bar, which is very cool. The fan, you can set the settings on there, so you can adjust it to how you want if you're not familiar with it. So at the moment it's reading auto mode, and you do have your key button mapping as well on there. So some Android games you can adjust it to how you want. You simply just tap it, and when you come out it sort of populates, and you can adjust it, select which buttons you want to change or add to. Pretty straightforward stuff really with that. You got your processing power there, so right now it's on auto mode off, and then you can put it on high mode. You got your fan, it's off at the moment. Got auto, can't really hear anything yet. You got cool, and it's very quiet, which is very good. So can you feel anything? Yeah, it's doing its job. You can literally feel it. It's doing its thing. So it's actually doing something, which is great. What did I do there? There you go. So when you power the device, when you press the standby button, it goes off. Press it again, it'll come back on if that's the setting you've left it on. Strong. And it's still very quiet. It doesn't sound like an aeroplane, like, when the PS4 is struggling. It's like an aircraft taking off. So that's really good. Nice and quiet. And then you can turn it off. And then you've got the rest of your sort of notification bar settings. You can switch your button layout. So at the moment, it's probably an Xbox layout. You tap it. No, Xbox mode's on. Nintendo mode. You got your screencast. I don't know how much of that is going to be usable, but if you're going to be screencasting, because this doesn't have HDMI out, it doesn't have that ability. You could screencast, but you need to have hella strong internet for that. You need to have a really stable Wi-Fi connection. I don't know if it's worth doing that, but that's just something to explore. So yeah, so that's just a bit about the notification bar. You got your eye comfort there, which is pretty cool. Your Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all of these things that you would normally expect to see on the Wi-Fi on the Android device is all there. So you got any thoughts on that at all?
No, it looks good. I mean, this is my first real play around with the Android device. I've always been Linux based mainly, or Windows.
Yeah, that's usually it. So without further ado, let's jump into some gameplay. So for the first game, obviously, because this is a vertical device, I've got to pay homage to a Game Boy title for sure. Jumping into some Double Dragon 2. Listen to music. It's hype. Let's go. Remember these sounds? I remember having this. Let's go. Get him. Where's my punches? Yeah, there you go. Oh, I've got the turbo button on as well, look. Oh, they're giving me the beat down. Look. Yeah, let me get Dragon Punch. Dragon Punch. There you go. And do you know what? There's something about seeing the Game Boy games in black and white that just looks so clean, man. Simple graphics, but they look so clean. So yeah, let's have a look at some GameCube emulation right here. This is what Zelda Wind Waker, yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty decent. There's been no tweaks to it as well. It's literally this. Well, this is our first impressions anyway. So
I mean, it's running smooth. Only thing is the camera feels. I don't know if it's me or the left and right feel backwards.
Alright, so Street Fighter Third Strike. Let's test out some of the fireball mechanics of this device. I say that you can accidentally tap that sometimes. Alright, so let's test out the fireball mechanics of this unit anyway, because we gotta know. I always pick Street Fighter Third Strike. It's one of my favourite fighting games. No issue. Dragon. No issue. Dragonable. Yep, I'm liking that. Hurricane kick. Hurricane kick. Hurricane kick. Yep. Let's see if I can get a combo in. Yeah, yeah. The nerve of the taunt. But yeah, it's definitely fireballable. Analog time. Alright, analog's working good. You can see that. Okay. Can I turn that up a bit as well?
Yeah.
Sound is good. It's looking crispy clean. Yo.
That's smooth. Oops.
Alright, here we go. So, always the test. God of War on the PS2. I can expect it to be a little bit jumpy because, but funny enough, it's not too bad. I think it could do with a bit of a tweak, but this isn't looking bad. I'd rather it play like this where it's slightly jumpy. It's still quite playable, but I feel like I'm moving really fast. Sorry, I'm just getting into the game. It's not looking bad. I mean, I don't think there's going to be the entire PS2 library just like on the 405M, but there are some games that you can play and they're going to look decent enough, especially with some of the more 2D PS2 titles, so there's always that. So yeah, God of War not looking bad.
Yeah, it looks decent.
Backgrounds are looking decent as well. 16-bit titles, they're gonna play super easy. This game was difficult though, I remember this.
But this is the first game I think that had drifting.
Yeah.
And I was actually having a good conversation with someone. This used the same engine as Mario Kart.
Okay.
And the F-Zero on the GameCube is very much like Mario Kart. And we're saying, Nintendo should remake F-Zero. And effectively all they need to do is change the skin and take the power-ups out.
Okay. Smooth. Again, no doubt, but I'm showing it for showing its sake. Look at that, the elbow comes straight in. It might as well pull Phoenix with it. Well, look, it's
smooth.
Yeah, it's just running smooth, but no issues there whatsoever. Yeah, I had no doubt that I was going to play this. That's good.
Here's an idea. Can we swap the memory card from...
Yeah, we should be able to. It's Android. Let's take a quick test. So, time out from a bit of gameplay. Let's just switch the SD card. So I'm going to take out what I've got from the 405M. I'm going to switch it in with this one. But then that means I have to redo the whole game sort of situation again. So it will absolutely work. It just means that I would have to reset all those games, which don't mind, because I'm probably just going to switch from SD card to SD card anyway. Okay, here we go. So we're back. So I don't know if I've got anything on 3DS. Alright, here we go. So this was Vivid City. So it's a little side-scrolling punch 'em up type.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, you can zoom in and out. That's so cool. So if I press on Vivid City Ransom, if you press R1, it will zoom out, zoom in, so you can zoom into the beatdown.
Is that part of the game?
Yeah, that's actually very cool. Yo, yeah, I love this game because you can like go into the shops and stuff and buy your power-ups and that. So look, 3DS does run. Don't know how much of the library will be playable, but this certainly is playable. Let me get my cash, my queen. So yeah, 3DS does work. So yeah,
RX-7.
Yo, that's your whip. So we're gonna jump straight into some Gran Turismo here for the PS1. No, this is Gran Turismo 2 because I don't remember the RX-7 being the first starter car that you can grab. You got some talent up against you there, Mustangs and that.
Yeah, I've got the top end.
Look at those PS1 graphics. We'll be able to upscale this as well if we're using like DuckStation, but I think this is using just the auto setup, which is RetroArch. So a lot of these systems have the ability to upscale, which will be nice. It will look a lot cleaner. But hey, look, this is just first impressions.
Yeah, I really don't remember how to drive this with a controller. I used to have a steering wheel on mine. No!
You're spinning out, bro. Come on, dog.
How do I reverse? I'm an embarrassment to Mazda drivers.
Oh no. That's the big RX-7, G.
I'm not used to the turbo. Give me the RX-8.
Yeah.
No, but it's running decent. Too fast. No.
Yeah, back out.
Yeah.
I mean, most of these lower end systems, they're going to play just fine, but I thought let me just show some Game Boy Advance because I do like how crispy clean that this display looks. And it just feels so comfortable. Analog works good as well. Yeah, man, it's nice to be able to play these games with the vertical form factor. I love this, man. I'm waiting for a powerful vertical handheld device. But yeah, that's that. So what do we have to say about this? What have we learnt about this device? What do we like? Do you want to go first?
The screen, I love it. The buttons, I love it. The layout, the feel of it, I like. I'm a bit envious now. I want one.
Mate, it's gonna be playable all the time, bruv. Don't worry about that.
It's pretty much what I want. It's got the higher end machines. It is capable of playing Dreamcast, GameCube, PS2. It runs what we've tested pretty well.
For first impressions, definitely it does run well. I mean, personally, I'm just gonna take away some of these emulators, put on some of the ones I won't like, especially with the GameCube and the Wii stuff. I'm going to be using Dolphin by MMJ2, probably Dolphin by MMJ2, because that's the one that I'm used to the most and it works best with the games that I play. The nostalgic value of it, back to what you were saying, a vertical device that allows you to play top-end systems, that's something that we've definitely been wanting in the community. I've been wanting something like this since, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's some talented people out there that have built GameCube and Wii, I think with the actual hardware into a handheld. They
cut the circuit boards and put it in,
into a form factor of the vertical Game Boy, and since then I've always wanted one, and this makes it affordable. It does. I mean, look, sorry guys, we didn't get a price on this, but in any case, compared to some of the ones that the guys build by their hands, which is going to be expensive. This is an affordable option to allow you to play the games that you want to.
But you're saying affordable. If we look at some of the other devices, that's just died. If we look at some of the other devices, I've just had my head deep into these budget clone devices. And then going from these that I've been using and testing and putting through their paces over the last couple of months to touching this, as I said earlier, it feels like something that Nintendo would have put out.
Yeah, the quality is great. It's really good on there, and I like that. I've got no complaints about it other than it is a little bit light on the trigger here, on the triggers here. So you can actually press those by accident. So you're going to need to be a little bit careful with that. Besides that, it feels really comfortable. And to me, that's good. And here's why. You can now play on a vertical device for longer durations of time. Whereas with some of the smaller ones, like with the Miu Mini Plus, even the RG405X, they are comfortable to a point. However, I think the bigger a vertical device is, the more comfortable it's going to be. Unlike with the chocolate bar shaped devices where, you know, when you're holding them like this, you can play them for however long. It doesn't particularly get uncomfortable. Having it this size, this chunky with these sort of ergonomics makes you more likely to play for a little bit longer. Questions, comments and concerns, leave them below. Let's start a conversation. What do you guys like about this device? What don't you like about it? So yeah, we'll leave it right there. Guys, I hope you liked the video. I'm Joel Reed.
I'm Mo.
Take care, stay safe, and peace.
Let me get some Jago action, man.